Hey everybody, welcome back to our Smarketing CONNECT podcast. My name is Tom Libby. I'm one of the co-founders here at Smarketing CONNECT, and with me today is Don Pease of Don's Sign Tech Incorporated. And as I do in the other podcast, if you've watched us, I'm not going to go into a lot of details about who Don is. I'll let her do that for herself. So we'll move right into the Q&A here, Don. So in a few questions, in a few sentences, why don't you give us an idea of who you are and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Dawn Pease, and I own a sign company in North Andover, Massachusetts. A lot of people don't realize what sign companies do. Everybody thinks that we put up signs, that's it. But we do so much more. We do trade show products, so tablecloths, banner stands, the big displays that stand up behind you. We also do custom flags. We do vehicle lettering. We also do electrical components, so we can do channel letters, backlit, halo lit, front lit letters. We can do the electrical boxes. We even have some really cool new products that look like neon. It's a bendable tube, and when it lights up, it looks like neon, but it's not. It uses a lot less electricity. It doesn't get as hot, and it lasts a lot longer. It's not as delicate as neon is. So we cover everything from the smallest signs, you know, the little signs that have the braille on them, the ADA signs, we do those all the way up to large structurals, you know, that require heavy cranes and heavy lifts to go up. And one of the other things that we do that not every sign company does is that we'll also do the permitting for the client to get the sign put up. You can't just put a sign up because you want it. There are rules in every town and different rules for every building and every different area of the town. So we research that first before we show you proofs and things like that, because we don't want to show you what you can't have. And then sometimes there's also historic commission review required or design review board required. And sometimes we have to go through planning and zoning boards for the client as well to be allowed to have something that might be a little bit bigger than what they want. So that, in a nutshell, is everything that we do.
That seems like an awfully big nutshell. So, all right, so moving on here. So tell me about, tell me a little bit about the types of companies you work for. Big, small, we do them all, or is it like a, you know, do you have a niche kind of area? Tell us about a little bit about that.
There's really no limit. We have some very small companies, you know, where there's only the owner operating, up to larger companies, you know, something the size of 3M or General Motors or General Electric. If the request comes in, we put the quote out. One of the bigger companies that I deal with is called Lion Wah. They're an automotive family of dealerships. So there are, I think, a total of 9. So we've got several in New Hampshire, several in Massachusetts. So things like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, Mini, Jaguar, Porsche. There's probably more, I just can't remember them all, but they do a lot of point of sale. They're different times of year, have different events going on, so we're constantly updating them. We do work for the local hospitals. We do work for local real estate agents. We do work for, you know, just even the pizza place on the corner needs a new sign or needs some updated information on the inside. There's really not a limit to what we can do.
Well, that's pretty awesome too, actually. So you're not restricted by the size of the company at all. As long as they have a sign, you can help them with it.
If they have a requirement, we can do the job. You know, sometimes there are oddball things that might come up, and I'm lucky enough that I have a very large network of other business owners. So usually if there's something that I can't do, I can find the person who can do it for them.
That's pretty awesome. That's cool. So Don, in this part of the podcast, so you have a unique, for me, you're a unique kind of spin to this, because you are not only in the sales and marketing world, where a lot of the signs that you produce, most people would consider part of the branding, part of the marketing campaigns that people are leveraging, but you are also a small business owner yourself. So give me an idea from a business tool perspective. What kind of tool would you say a small business owner has to have, a must-have tool that you would recommend?
I think my biggest and probably the most important is an SEO company, somebody to promote you online. We all think we know what we're doing. We all think, oh, I'll just put it up on Facebook or I'll put it on my website. that's fine if you know how to use the proper search words, if you know the proper timing to drive your search engine. I don't have a clue. And I thought I was doing a good job until somebody showed me what a poor job I was doing. I wasn't showing up until the 6th or 7th page on Google. That's useless. When people go looking for things, the first page, maybe they'll go to the second page. But you need that the online presence. If you don't have that, nobody's going to find you.
Yeah.
You can put your sign up, you can put ads in the paper, but if people can't find you on a search engine, it's not going to happen. And so I pay someone to handle my SEO, and it's probably the best advertising money I have ever spent. They also manage my website. They've set up, even though Instagram doesn't drive my SEO, it is of interest to my clients to be able to see product. So they manage that for me. So I've got them looking after Twitter, Facebook, all of the landing pages like on Yelp, Yahoo, Merchant Circle, all of those. They manage all of that for me as well. If I need changes made, they make it. If I have announcements, they make it. If I have new product that's gone up, they put it up there. And so when people do a search for me for signs in New England, I come up at the top of the search engine. The only thing that's ahead of me is a pay-per-click, and most of those are out of state. Right. So I found that by and far is probably the best advertising money I've ever spent.
Awesome. That was really good. And that was like almost a perfect, like 2 minutes here, Don. Like, so, all right. So this question again, I think I don't want to, I think this, let's avoid the obvious, right? So when I ask this question to people who are doing SEO or doing some of the other marketing pieces of the business, I just don't want our listeners to think that this question is designed to just say, I do their signs, right? So what kind of challenges do business owners bring you in to solve aside from just sticking up a sign that is what most people are probably thinking right now when I ask this question?
All right, well, we can go back to the introduction on that. Number one is, the town told me I can't have this. What can I do about it? So I can talk to the building inspectors, I can talk to the planning board, I can find out information that might let us move ahead, or what we have to do to adjust to make things work. It also depends on, when clients talk about budget and they want to talk about what the look is, what the space is. There's nothing worse than somebody coming to me with a triangular space for their sign and they want a round sign. And I have to explain to them how it works. Or the logo is designed. I've had a guy come to me with a round logo, and the space that the sign was allowed to go in was, 30 feet long by 2 feet high.
Wow.
Again, I had to show him how to break down that logo so that it would work within the space that he had. So those are common things within my industry that I'll deal with a lot. But one of the other things I run into a lot, I deal with a lot of brand new business owners. The last thing they seem to ever budget for is their sign. That's how people find you, but they didn't mark it into their budget for opening. Or they run into problems that they don't know how to solve. And again, my network, because I work with other business owners, I know who the local business owners are and what they do. I'm able to refer them to someone who can help them. I need a plumber, or I need an electrician, or I need an architect. I can put them in touch with those people because I know that they're the people who are responding. Rather than going into the yellow pages and trying to find someone and they're waiting weeks for somebody to call back. I can sometimes make a call to my client and say, hey, I have a client who needs your help. Are you available? And if you're not, do you know someone who is? And so that makes people happy. It makes me happy to be able to help them. And it makes them happy that somebody has gone out of their way to help them. So often when you're starting a business, no one's giving you any information. I had no idea how to start my business. When I asked my father-in-law, who owns a business, I said, so what do I do first? He says, I don't know. So I called the IRS. A lot of people said, that's crazy. You shouldn't have called them. But I called them. I said, so I want to open a business. What's the first thing I got to do? She said, well, you need a tax ID and I'm going to give you one. It was, they were extremely helpful. And so when I run into new business owners, I want to take that pain from them, that nobody could tell me what I needed to do to start. I like to be able to say to them, okay, you need this, you need an accountant, you need an attorney, you need this, you need that. And so we have a lot of fun with that. They're very thankful that somebody is willing to help.
So you're the connector.
I'm the connector. That's it exactly.
So the next question here we're going to ask you is, I think you kind of partially started to answer it, but we'll go anyway, which is, so you meet somebody that's going to go hire a sales or marketing consultant or agency of some sort, and what advice would you give them during that process? So what would you tell them to look for?
All right. So, well, first of all, look for somebody who knows them. Look for somebody who's already using them. Find out, how satisfied they are with the work. There are too many people who are creating these businesses online. Sometimes it's a kid, a teenager that's at home and says, hey, I can help you with your SEO. I'll charge you this much. And they're not charging much. But remember, you're going to get what you pay for. But talk to people who use whichever product or company it is that you want to use. Get a referral. There is nothing, I hear it all the time, people, well, I have somebody, but it's not doing anything, it's not helping, I'm not getting anywhere, they're not answering my calls. That's the most important thing, is build a rapport with somebody before you hire them. Find out where their weaknesses lie, if there are any. What are their strengths? What do they do best? Go online, search for some of their clients, see how it comes up. Read the reviews. That, I think, is the best advice. Talk to somebody.
Awesome. That's pretty sound advice, I would say. So this has got to be one of my favorite questions here, Don, because I think that we all take our lives a little too seriously, and sometimes we just got to be a kid for half a second and just pretend we're a superhero again, right? And
Yep.
so I ask this question a lot, and I ask it in other facets of our business that there are very psychological reasons why you ask this question, but for now, we're going to ask it just to have a little fun and to humanize this a little bit. So Dawn, I ask, if you could be a superhero, who would you be, and tell me why?
So I actually researched this question. I actually went online because I can't remember who all the superheroes are anymore. So the best I came up with, I think, is Wonder Woman. And you're going to laugh at the reason. She's an Amazon, which means she's tall. I'm not. I would like to be taller. I'd like to be able to fly in an invisible plane. I'd like to be able to make people tell me the truth. I'd like to be able to travel around. I'd like to be that strong and stop bullets. I think she's
Sure.
got it all covered.
Well, that, and she is definitely an advocate for women's rights, right? Like she's amazing when it comes to like women's empowerment and that kind of stuff too. So she's definitely a role model for our younger girls, for sure.
Absolutely.
So in that case, then I'm going to say that Dawn is a role model for our younger girls. How's that?
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
And because I totally understood the comment. Dawn and I, just to let everybody else know, that Dawn and I have known each other for a little while, and I totally understand the comments. So I think this is the last kind of question and type slide. We have one more after this, but this question here is, this is your opportunity to kind of pay it forward. I know the sales and marketing world is a pretty tight-knit group of people. A lot of us know each other, but for this podcast purposes, and now that you've seen and answered some of the questions, who do you think would be a good guest on this program for our viewership, and give them a little bit of a shout out?
Okay. Do they have to be a member?
Nope.
Okay. So I was thinking, I have a friend who is in the clothing imprint business or imprint business.
Sure.
So they'll do bags, shirts, all that, the hats, everything you could possibly think of that you could wear that's for advertising. His name is Guy DiStefano, and he owns a company called Royal Screen Printing in Thuin. And he's one of the best in the area. He'll talk to the client. He'll explain why something doesn't work, explain why something costs what it does. So often when people get their logos designed, they design something that has so many different colors in it, but they've never designed it so that it can also be used as a single color.
Right.
And to give you an example, so if you look at my logo, you've got multiple colors. You've got a color shift in there. You've got some blending going on, shadows, things like that. So that looks great on a sign, but it's very difficult to put on clothing. And so we made sure when we designed that logo that it also worked as a single color or as an outline. And so he helps people with that, because when you've got 4 or 5 colors to do on a shirt, the price goes up exponentially. But if you can make it work with a single color, he also knows the clothing products. So when you can tell him what you want to spend and what quality of product you're looking for, he can help you. There are so many different clothing suppliers here in the US, and you want to make sure that you get the best bang for your buck for the product. If this is something you're giving away and you don't expect people to get much wear out of it, then you can go with a less expensive product. But if this is for your staff and you want it to last because they're going to be wearing it on a daily basis, then again, he can make a better recommendation.
Awesome.
So as an example, I like Gildan products for clothing. It's not really expensive, but the product is really good. I find that there's less pilling, there's less fraying, there's less turning or stretching at the collars. I really like the product, and it's never let me down. You know, I'm still wearing shirts that I had made 8 years ago, and they still look as good as the day I've gotten them. But by the same token, you know, sometimes you want stuff that's embroidered. You know, screen printing on hats can be difficult, but if it's embroidered, it's cleaner, it's sharper, it lasts longer. So I think he would be a great person to have on. He likes networking, he likes marketing, you know, it's what he does. We're very similar. So he's actually my subcontractor when the client says, would you just handle it for me? I don't want to deal with it.
Awesome. Well, so I think that's the end with this last slide here. So Don, I'm not going to read it to everybody. You know, everybody can see and read your information, and all the ways that they can contact you. The one thing I'd like to ask, is there anything I'm missing here on this slide? Is there any other way that somebody can contact you that they don't see here?
Sure. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We have Instagram. We're part of the North Andover Merchants Association. We're part of Smarketing CONNECT. You can find us there on their website. We're part of the 2 different large chambers of commerce. So we're listed on their websites and in their booklets. And we just love to network. If there's a networking event nearby, chances are we're going to be there. We like meeting people in person.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Don. Again, everybody, thank you for watching. And Don, this was amazing. I really appreciate it very much. I thought you were an awesome guest on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.